Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are doing another live stream, and this is kind of a random one because I wasn't really planning on it, but I saw that a lot of people are using this StreamYard app to go live, and I thought I'd give it a shot, give it a try, see how it works, So welcome everybody to the Horror Corner. Thanks for joining me live on this fine Wednesday evening. It's actually after midnight. You could say it's morning, but here we are. All right, so I am live. So I just wanted to check my phone and make sure I am actually live. So here we are. We're live at the Horror Corner. Right now it's after midnight on Wednesday night. And yeah, I'm just giving it a shot, try my hand at this StreamYard app here, see how it works. I see a lot of people using that since the Google Hangouts thing went away, and we don't have access to that anymore. So, so far it seems pretty straightforward. I'm enjoying it. It seems to be working fine, Of course, I've only been on for a minute, so let's see how it goes. How is everybody tonight, huh? How was your Friday the 13th? That's right, we just had a Friday the 13th last week. I always have a lot of fun on that night, and I always watch one of these. Like my new mask, guys, got this bad boy at Spirit Halloween. I think it's a pretty good replica, and it was only like $14. I think it's pretty badass actually. I like it. As soon as I saw this, I was like, "Oh, I gotta grab that, man. That's dope. That is dope ass." Oh, Dino, we got Dino in the chat. Yeah, it's a late night stream. Thanks, man. So you rename the show? I see. It's the Dino and Ted show. It's not the late horror show anymore. Digging the new name though. I like the new name. Dino and Ted show. Thank you for joining me, guys, tonight. So I did have some topics I wanted to discuss. There are a couple of new horror flicks out that I wonder if you guys have actually seen. I haven't seen them, but I'm curious if you guys out there have seen uh, It Chapter 2. Have you guys seen It Chapter 2? If so, I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on the film. I myself, I decided to skip it because of the kind of negative, mixed reviews. Not totally negative, but I figure if the movie is 3 hours long and I hear mixed reviews on it, I'm not gonna sit there for 3 hours to a movie that could be garbage, Unless I hear like rave reviews, like Avengers Endgame, then okay, I'll sit for 3 hours. That's something like that. Avengers, where I was really excited, but um, where I watched the trailers and I wasn't really kind of blown away by it. And then that, along with some of the negative reviews I've heard, not just from actual movie critics, but like some of the YouTubers, like Cody Leach and stuff. I decided I would stay away from it. Make at least wait till it comes out on DVD. Maybe red box it. So yeah, I decided to skip it. I know it's probably a shock to you guys, And anytime I do kind of go to a theater to see a horror movie, I do want to like tell you guys about it and give my thoughts on the film. But you know, it's hard for me to. I can't really afford to go to the movies too much, so I don't really go unless it's something I'm really excited about. Like I am excited about going to see Rambo: The Last Blood. I do want to see Rambo, because I have been a fan of Stallone like my whole life. I love the Rockies and the Rambos and all the Cobra and all that stuff. He's had so many action classics, and I think this new Rambo looks really good. It's like grounded, almost like the original classic from 1982, First Blood, where he's back in the U.S. He's not um, over in Vietnam or something. Also, Three from Hell. I've heard about. I've heard mixed things on that too. It had a very limited release. Why didn't? And that makes you think right there. Why didn't it have a wide like theatrical release? Just a small little um, for a couple days in select theaters. I guess it's not that. It makes you wonder. And I actually did kind of enjoy the Devil's Rejects. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge Rob Zombie fan. But I think if there was one good movie he's made, The Devil's Rejects is as close to a good movie as he's made. It's hard to breathe in this thing. I don't know how people do that. But yeah, I think The Devil's Rejects was as close to a uh, clear cut, cohesive story that he's made. Um, and Rob Zombie to me is not the best at storytelling. He's great with the visuals and blood and gore and in your face like violence and destruction and chaos that he is good at. But the problem is he's never been a good writer, and I think that's really hampered every film that he's made, really, um, including The Devil's Rejects and a lot of kind of hammy acting. A lot of times you get like B movie acting in his movies. And I think sometimes that might be on purpose, but I don't know. No. Anyway, have you guys seen Three from Hell? If so, let me know what your thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know, is it worth watching? Is it worth rushing out to kind of go see this limited theatrical run it has? Or should I just skip it, wait for the DVD? Just like I'm waiting for the DVD for Ed Chapter 2. I'm not gonna run to go see it, but I am gonna run and see Rambo: The Last Blood because Stallone rules, man. I love Rambo. Yeah. So, guys, how was your Friday 13th? Did you watch any of the classic films? Um, Such an iconic franchise. I, I don't think I've ever gone a single Friday 13th and not watched one of the Friday 13th movies. It's just like a ritual. It's like you have to do it. How can you go one single Friday 13th and not watch a Friday movie? Jason Voorhees, the iconic boogeyman. You just can't do it. Not if you're a hard nerd like me. This is not beer, by the way. It's Izzy Sparkling Clementine. If you guys, um, I don't know if you guys know that about me. I'm kind of a recovering alcoholic. I've been sober for about 15 years now. Yeah, so I don't drink. I haven't drank in 14 years, not a drop. I'm proud of that. At one time, yes, I had a problem. And luckily, early on, I was able to get past it. And for a while, I went to AA meetings and stuff. I know I don't think I've shared that on my channel before, honestly. Um, yeah, there was a time when I was, going a little too far with it. I was going to the bars every night and getting trashed, and spending all my money and drinking at home every night, getting trashed. I could never drink and not get drunk, and that's a problem, I think. The problem for the wallet too, my cash. And of course, the more I drank, the more I smoked, and I was also a heavy smoker. Um, Maybe not a heavy smoker when I didn't drink, but when I drank, on an average day, I smoked about a half a pack. But then when I drank, it'd be like chain smoking. And I drank often. Anyway, this I didn't know if you guys knew that about me. I don't think I've ever mentioned that on my YouTube channel before. But yeah, it's either 14 or 15 years over. I can't even keep track anymore. But yeah, I'm proud of that. And it's taken a lot sometimes. I've had some hard times, uh, depressing times in my life where I could have, and I wanted to sometimes take that drink, but then I tell myself, no, you don't want to go back you don't want to go back there. You don't want to go back to that dark place, um, and just drown in your sorrows. I can't do that anymore. So another thing I want to talk about is do you guys feel like the fan films are keeping the Friday 13th franchise alive since we haven't had a Friday 13th film since 2009 now? That's a long time, over 10 years now. Yeah, and there's a lot of these fan films coming out, especially in the Friday 13th franchise. And a lot of them, there seems to be a lot of, production behind it. Obviously, we had Never Hike Alone, and from what I hear, there's a sequel to Never Hike Alone coming out, which will actually is supposed to feature Tom Matthews as Tommy Jarvis once again. I know we saw him at the end of the first one. I believe he's going to be a more prominent role in the next Never Hike Alone movie, which I'm very curious to see. I am actually very interested in that. And there's another one coming out, 13 Fanboy, which is directed by Deborah Voorhees from Friday 13 Part 5, A New Beginning. Um, and that's supposed to be a lot of buzz in that. It actually looks pretty good I saw a little like teaser trailer on it, and it looked pretty cool actually. So what do you guys think is it keeping the series alive, kind of? I would say it is. A lot of people like those fan films, and they're pretty well made. Some people would say that Never Hike Alone is better than some of the actual Friday 13th films. Because let's face it, not all the Fridays were fantastic films. I don't think even the most hardcore Friday 13th fan could say that every movie is great. There are great ones in my opinion. Like, to me, the first four movies are all great. And then even five I've come to really enjoy. I really enjoy it. I think it's a lot of fun. And six, I love. For me, after that is when it really goes downhill. After six, you had the New Blood, and then Jason Takes Manhattan, and Jason Goes to Hell, and Jason X. I really didn't care for any of those, really. But the saving grace of the series, I think, at that time was Freddy versus Jason, which I did very much enjoy. So thank God for that, because I think that kind of saved the franchise. Friday 13th, Freddy versus Jason. And then, of course, you had the remake from 2009, which I have kind of mixed feelings about. I do enjoy it overall. I think it was pretty solid overall. Um, but some of the characters like really got on my nerves, and I felt with some of the most annoying characters in franchise history. But as far as Jason goes, Jason was spot on. Oh, we got the soulless trench coat in the house. What's going on? Welcome to the horror corner. This is the live horror stream 8, The Killing. And if you just join us, we're talking a little bit about the Friday 13th franchise, because we had Friday 13th this past week. And we're talking about, do you feel that the fan films of Friday 13th are keeping the franchise alive, which I personally feel it is, and they've some pretty well made fan films for Friday 13th out there. I'm good, man. Thank you. And yeah, so I was going through a little bit, um, how some people feel that like Never Hike Alone is better than some of the actual franchise movies, which probably is true. The last four in the franchise, I'm not a huge fan on, but I love the first four. I love. I've come to really enjoy five, A New Beginning, and I love six. I just love six. Jason Lives is awesome. And for me, that's kind of where Friday ends for me, except for Freddy versus Jason, which I did really enjoy. Um, yeah, I feel like Freddy versus Jason saved the Friday 13th franchise in a way. Uh, it also saved the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, probably, because because the last one had been A New Nightmare, which I don't know. I'm mixed on that one, but I feel like Robert Englund came back strong in Freddy vs. Jason. He was awesome. So the Soulless Trenchcoat says Friday 13th is my favorite horror franchise. I still have to watch the fan made films. This is for you, Soulless Trenchcoat. You like my mask? Just picked up this bad boy. Pretty awesome, right? Only $14 at Spirit Halloween. I got my Halloween costume, by the way. So you guys can expect to see that in an upcoming episode around Halloween time for the Horror Corner. The Soulless Trenchcoat says I enjoy all the Friday films except for Jason Goes to Hell. I guess you're a little more kind to it than I am. uh, but I'd say I enjoy most of the Friday 13th franchise, but to me the last four were pretty bad, except for well, the remake was, I thought, was all right. It had its good parts. I like Jason, and Jason was very well handled. I love Derek Mears as Jason Voorhees. I thought he did a great job. I thought the character was handled well. It was handled with care and respect to the character. But some of those annoying teenage characters, I just couldn't deal with. What Soulless Trenchcoat? What do you think of the 2009 remake of Friday 13th? Were you a fan of that? I did do a review on that one. If you guys haven't seen it, if you want to check it out on my channel. I still haven't done all the Friday 13th, but I've done a good chunk of them. Yeah, I get that. Seven, Manhattan, and X can get pretty cheesy. Yeah, I totally agree on that. I think the problem with Seven, the New Blood, is I feel like it had the potential to be a pretty solid entry, but you know, it didn't have the blood. The MPAA cut the movie like to ribbons, and every kill you see just kind of like cuts away, and you don't see the end result. You don't see the blood and gore. And come on, a Friday 13th without blood and gore, it's not right. It's not, you gotta have the blood and the gore in the Friday 13th. You gotta see Jason do his thing. That's half of the what the franchise is about, the kills. And those kills seem like they would have been good if they actually showed it. And then it might have actually been a decent Friday 13th movie, but without it, it's just kind of like Jason versus Carrie. I mean, I don't know. I will say I do like Kane Hodder as Jason, and he's one of the best. Um, Definitely a solid Jason, no question. It's unfortunate that he's stuck in those kind of crappy movies. Too bad he didn't get a chance to be in some of the better ones like Jason Lives, the final chapter, and. Yeah, Jason needs to be unchanged, uncut. Yeah, exactly. Should not be cutting Jason kills, and I don't like that. I gotta have the blood and the kills in a Friday 13th franchise. You just have to. And yeah, Friday 13th is definitely one of my favorite franchises of all time. Of course, you guys know what my absolute favorite is, Halloween, of course. But Friday 13th is definitely up there. I love the franchise, absolutely. And the first two films, I've said it many times, to me are classics, horror classics. Not just slasher classics, but horror classics to me. Um, I hold those films in high regard, high esteem. I love Friday 13th, the original from 1980, and the sequel, Friday 13th Part 2. I absolutely love. Yeah, and I love those two movies. I love everything about them. They're just like brilliant, you know, just masterful horror filmmaking. I love them. The score, the kills, everything. Soulless Trenchcoat says the gore is why we watch Friday 13th. That's a major reason. And if you don't have any of that, that's a problem. If you don't have gore in your Friday 13th movie, that's an issue. Let's see. Next topic I wanted to discuss was I want to let you guys know a little about kind of what I'm planning for the Halloween season, and some of the things I'm hoping to do. I don't have as much time these days. I do work two jobs. But the videos that I do get to do are going to go towards the classic horror area. I hope to focus on stuff like the universal monster horror films, the old black and white classics, like the original Dracula and the subsequent sequels, which don't hardly ever get talked about much on YouTube, I don't think. Not enough, at least. you know, Stuff like Dracula's Daughter, or The House of Dracula, House of Frankenstein, Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, things like that. Solar's Trenchcoat says, yeah, Halloween, I like more if it's singular films. Well, Friday, I think, works better as a franchise. Just my opinion, but Halloween OG is one of my top 10 favorite films of all time. Absolutely. But I am glad you enjoy the original Halloween. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try and focus on my Halloween videos. I want to be like classic horror, uh, like I was saying, like stuff like Dracula's Daughter, things you don't see much of on YouTube that don't get talked about enough. Stuff like Frankenstein versus the Wolfman, and of course some Hammer films as well, which you guys know I love my Hammer horror, and I plan to do some more Hammer horror reviews around Halloween time. I think that's the way I want to do it. Because that's what I like to do on Halloween is watch classic horror movies. Um, Not just like the slashers like Halloween, Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, of course I'm gonna watch those too, but I also love watching like classic horror, like black and white old horror, like even Night of the Living Dead and Psycho, and of course the real old school, the Universal monster movies, or even something like Nosferatu, and of course Hammer films. I love watching. I love that stuff. Still to this day, I feel like if you're a true hardcore horror fan, you gotta appreciate and honor the classics. And that's what I hope to do on my channel. I've always want to cover kind of all the bases. I don't want to just talk about new horror and what's going on today or independent stuff. I want to talk about the classics, the old school classics, going back from the 30s to the 50s to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and all the way up to today. And I hope, and I like to think that I do that. That I cover all the bases. I'll talk about the old classics and then like cover all the genres, the slashers, the zombies, the vampires, and all that stuff. But yeah, for the Halloween season time, I want to talk about classic old school horror. And I'm also, you might you might see a couple characters on my show, that we've seen in the past. Soulless Trenchcoat says, love old school horror. Dracula Lugosi film is another one of my top 10 favorite lists. Awesome, man. I love it. Love freaking Dracula, baby. You might see, I know there's someone gunning for me by the name of the Dark Fate. So me and him might finally clash if he happens to catch up with me. I'm going to be ready for you, buddy. No matter what you do, you're never going to be able to get me, man. Never. You're never going to be able to take me down, Mr. Dark Fate. Tune in for the further adventures of the Dark Fate versus Sean Patrick Erschen of the Horror Corner. And you never know what else you might see. You might see a special new tag video. I noticed we haven't seen any tag videos around in a while. I always like doing that stuff. So maybe I'll come up with a new one for the Halloween season or whatever. I don't know. Something like that. Um, yeah, and so that's kind of my plans for Halloween. I know a lot of people doing their 31 days of October or 31 days of Halloween or stuff like that, which is awesome. I really envy people for doing that. I can't believe people can make a video every single day, of the month. That's insane. Like that's crazy. I could never do that. Hmm. Sounds interesting. Thanks, man. I hope it is. I hope you're around. I hope you can enjoy it. Um, I'm gonna do my best. Try and put out as much content as I can with what limited time I have. Which isn't much. Oh, Horror Digest in the house. What's going on, man? Welcome to the Horror Corner. Hey, hierarchies. we got we got Horror Digest in the chat. We had the Dino and Ted show there earlier. We have Horror Digest in the chat. Welcome, welcome, one and all, to the Horror Corner. So Horror Digest. I was just talking about what I'm planning for the Halloween season. Uh, what are you planning? Are you? I know you've had a break for quite a while. You had a lot of stuff going on in your life. Do you plan on doing getting back to YouTube like full time, or at least like kind of part time gig, or you're gonna go all out on Halloween and stuff? Oh, thank you, Soulless Trenchcoat says, I like your reviews. You're good at them. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. So next up is I had a couple more topics I wanted to discuss before we go off the stream and I get my ass to bed where it's supposed to be because I have work in the morning. Um, by the way, this is pretty cool. This StreamYard thing seems to work and be pretty good. I haven't had any issues yet. I know with the previous thing I was using, I got cut off a couple times. So Horror Digest says, I'll be back full time soon. I'm starring my Horror Surge show December, Friday the 13th. There you go, man. Awesome. So everybody, Horror Digest will be back full time soon with his Horror Surge shows. December on Friday the 13th. So stay tuned for that. Check out Horror Digest channel. Check out his new show, Horror Surge, coming up. And stay tuned for all his content. Go subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy. So next up, I want to talk about. I have a question for you guys out there, and I'll give you my thoughts. And it's, what would you consider the goriest, bloodiest slasher movie ever? That's a good one, huh? That's tough, isn't it? Hard Digest says Horror Surge podcast, I should say. Right, so it's going to be a podcast, huh? Great. Well, I hope that works out good for you. I hope you get some good guests, and I hope to check it out. How about you, Mr. Horror Digest, or the goriest, bloodiest slasher of all time? Or soulless trench coat? What would you consider the goriest, bloodiest slasher movie of all time? Or anybody out there in YouTube land? So for my money, I'm gonna pick my uh, pick for the goriest, bloodiest slasher movie of all time. Hard digest. Ooh, that's a hard one. Yeah, it's tough to pick one, right? There's been so many bloody, gory, brutal slasher movies, especially when you're talking about like the '80s. You could, on the '80s alone, the early '80s, the slasher boom of the early '80s. There's so many brutal slasher movies, and of course today you have stuff like Terrifier and stuff like that. There's certainly some brutal slasher movies today. But all time, I'm going to go with. Let's see, the Souls Trench Coat has an answer. Maybe Dude Bro Party Massacre 3, just off the top of my head. I don't think I've seen that one. Party Massacre. The Wishmaster. Ooh. Hard Digest says Wishmaster. Ooh, that's a good one. I love the Wishmaster. I wish they kind of came back with those. That was a really fun franchise, especially the first two, of course, with Andrew Divoff as the Djinn. Very underrated. The original Wishmaster. I thought it was really cool. It's such a cool idea for a slasher movie. You got a genie, be careful what you wish for, and of course, no matter what the people wish for, it never turned out good for them. It never ever worked out for them. It's never what they think it's gonna be. Especially the scene where he gave the guy cancer. Yeah, that was awesome. Then I think it was Bronco Juggalo pointed out to me that Wishmaster 2 was actually a made for cable movie. I didn't know that. Made for TV. I didn't know that. I thought it came out as like the first one, but apparently it went straight to the cable. Made for cable. But it's pretty damn good. I like the second one. It was pretty damn gory as well. Um, and there's more, more of the one-liners from the Jinn, like evil never dies. love, I love too where his evil genie is chilling in prison and just running the joint. Yeah, definitely. Evil Dead 2. Wishmaster 2 is awesome. And I haven't seen the original Wishmaster in a long time. I wonder how the effects hold up because I remember back in the day, it had some pretty cool like special effects with the CGI stuff, and the look of the Jinn is really badass, like the prosthetic makeup and the masks and everything. Awesome makeup job on the Jinn character. Favorite scene is where he made the prisoner's lawyer screw himself. I remember that. Soulless Trenchcoat says Devil's Rejects gets pretty crazy though. Yeah, it does. We were talking about that earlier at the top of the show. Was talking about the three from hell and stuff, and I talked a little bit about the Devil's Rejects. That was funny, dude. They made the prisoner's lawyer screw himself. Crazy stuff. I love it. And Andrew Divoff was such a great character. He played that role so well. It was really like creepy too, and I love his voice and his accent. The way, just an awesome job. He's so charismatic, and of course the one-liners left and right. I love it. It's just classic slasher stuff. Anyway, my pick for the goriest, bloodiest slasher of all time for me is the New York Ripper, directed by Lucio Fulci. So if you guys haven't seen that, check it out. It's some of the most brutal stuff you're ever gonna see. I also like the Wasted Kill where Asian twins go all double dragon on that biggest dude. Andrew Divoff is underrated. Yeah, I agree with that. Horror Digest. I've seen him in a few other movies too. I really liked him in like there was a movie called Night of the Living Dead. It was like one of the random like spin-offs of Night of the Living Dead. It was called 3D Reanimation, I think it was, and it was with Jeffrey Combs. Actually, really enjoyed that. Yeah, Postmaster went down. Wishmaster went downhill after Divoff left. Yes, absolutely. I did see the third one though. I think what was it? Prophecy Fulfilled. Um, it was all right, but it would have been. I think it would have been a lot better with Andrew Divoff, of course. They should have just kept. They should have just made sure they kept him for the whole franchise. Wishmaster 4 was the worst one. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, if you guys ever see the New York Ripper, oh my God, it's so brutal. Like the kills, it's the slashiest of the slasher movies. I think so much blood freaking everywhere, and there's some kills that just make you cringe. And if you guys know Lucio Fulci's movies like Zombie and The Beyond, and he brings the gore like nobody's business. Stuff like House by the Cemetery, and all that is in the New York Ripper, even more so. But it's like just imagine what this if you bring what he brought to the zombie genre and bring it to the slasher movie. That's exactly what the New York Ripper does. I haven't seen it. Well, check it out. Definitely check it out, man. If you love slasher movies, it's up there. I think it's one of my favorite one-shot slasher movies. Let's put it that way. Like Maniac, stuff like that. My Bloody Valentine, the one-shot slashers from the early '80s. So New York Ripper was right around that time, 1982. Of course, you had Prom Night and The Prowler and stuff like that. The Burning, those are all great. I love those. I love those one-shot slashers from the early '80s. And of course, the franchises were at their best too. Halloween 2, awesome. Friday 13 Part 2, phenomenal. The Town That Dreads Sundown, yeah. Are you talking about the remake though, or the original one? Because I don't think the original one was that bloody, was it? But I haven't seen the remake actually. I just saw the old one from what was it, 1972? That's a true story. You guys know that? I'm sure you know that. Terrifier, yes. Terrifier is up there for sure. And that's bloody as all hell. Looking forward to Terrifier 2. Let's see if they can up the ante. And of course, you have stuff like Hostel, those are gory as all hell. Saw is quite gory, the Saw movies. Pretty damn brutal. The '70s version, huh? I didn't think the '70s version was that bloody. Yeah, the true story behind it is very creepy. Yeah, indeed. It's very interesting. A Serbian film. I haven't seen that. I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't seen that. I have to be honest. I have not seen that. I mean, all I've heard about it is that it's just like pure like trash and like sleaze on it. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't seen it. I can't comment on it. Cannibal Holocaust. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not really a slasher movie though. Now you're going outside the slasher area. It's a cannibal movie more than it's not a slasher movie, I would say. But it's absolutely, if you're talking about one of the goriest, bloodiest movies, period, then yeah, it would certainly be in the running. And let's close it off. One more topic for you guys before we go off the air. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about Halloween Kills and, the casting news that we heard. Um, and there's just a few things I wanted to talk about. You were talking about one-shot slashes, so I brought up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, Hostel 2 is the best. Yeah. Yeah, Hostel 2 is quite brutal. Yeah. I think I have to agree with that. I liked Hostel 2 actually better than the first one. It's especially that one scene is just awesome, with the girl hanging from the ceiling and the girl grabs the other girl grabs the sickle and the blood just pours on her and she takes a bath and bathes in the blood, rubs it all over. That was some sick shit. So yeah, I want to talk a little bit about Halloween Kills and the casting news. So what do you guys think about that? You got the original Lindsay Wallace coming back, Kyle Richards, um, who still looks pretty damn good today. I didn't even know that she was one of the real housewives on that reality show. I found that out. I was like, oh shoot, really interesting. I didn't know that she was in a couple other like horror classics too. I totally didn't know that. I just knew her as Lindsay Wallace. Oh, Jen's reviews from the grave. Welcome to the chat here. We got Horror Digest, the Soulless Trench Coat, and we got Jen's reviews from the grave. Thank you for joining me. I read that Jen's reviews from the grave had her first solo live stream. So congratulations on that. That's awesome. I got to check that out. So congratulations to Jen and Christian, who also have hit a milestone on the subscribers. I believe they got over 600 subscribers now. And she's running a contest. So if you guys haven't had a chance to check out Jen's reviews from the grave, check out her channel, like, subscribe to her channel, and check out her contest for the subscribers. 600 subscriber contest. Hey, what's up, Bronco Juggalo in the house? Bronco up in the hizzy. I was just watching your Wishmaster. I was just watching your Leprechaun 4 review in space. I love that movie. You're welcome. I do agree. Leprechaun 4 is a cheese fest. Yes, I am aware of that. But I just enjoy it. I think it's so much fun. So now that you're here, Jen, let's talk a little bit about the Halloween Kills casting. Wallace coming back to the franchise, played by the original actress Kyle Richards. Um, and of course, we also have Anthony Michael Hall playing the role of Tommy Doyle, which was originally played by Brian Andrews, I believe was his name. The funny thing about that too, as I had said in one of my previous videos about Brian Andrews reprising the role of Tommy Doyle, um, I wish that they had just got him back, the original actor, instead of like a known actor like Anthony Michael Hall, which I get why they did that, but apparently, according to Brian, he did hear from the makers of Halloween Kills. And they did originally want him to come back as Tommy Doyle. But the reason he didn't come back is because he wanted to get representation. I guess he wanted to get an agent. Because I don't think he's done a movie in 40 years. I don't think he's done a movie since Halloween, the original from 1978. So, and they didn't want to wait for him to get a manager or an agent, so they just went with Anthony McAll. They just went with a different guy. They didn't want to wait, um, which kind of sucks. I mean, don't you want to be authentic to the Halloween franchise, to the original movie? Isn't that what they're trying to do? Is make it faithful and represent the original classic, and kind of be an official, authentic follow up to the original classic. So, you're going to bring back Lindsay, the original actress, but you're not bringing back the original actor who played Tommy. It's kind of silly to me. But I know Anthony Michael Hall will do a fine job. He's a fine actor. It's just a little nitpick I have, I guess. I can't. Things like that, little things like that kind of irk me. If it's gonna be so faithful and so authentic to the original classic, why aren't you using the original actor? Anthony Michael Hall should make a good Tommy. I would have wanted to see Paul Rudd. Yeah, that's another thing. They could have used Paul Rudd from, and they'd have the connection to Curse of Michael Myers. But he's probably busy with the MCU. I think that's exactly why he couldn't do it, is that he was doing Ant-Man and all that. He's too busy with Marvel movies and stuff. But still, you got Kyle Richards coming back. That's really cool. The original Lindsay Wallace, and I'm curious to see what their role will be in this movie. How do they fit in, and why are they back after 40 years? Where have they been doing all this time? What have they been doing all this time? I'm curious, and how do they come back into the story? It should be interesting. And also, I believe they said Lonnie Lamb is coming back. The kid that was a bully to Tommy. The kid that tripped him and made him fall on his own pumpkin and smash his pumpkin, and ruined his Halloween. Ooh, he's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. He's gonna get you. The boogeyman is coming. Don't you know what happens on Halloween? Yeah, we eat candy. Ooh, the boogeyman. The boogeyman. I know pretty much every line of that movie, guys. I can't study. I can't stay, bro. I gotta go to bed. Well, thank you for stopping by, Bronco Juggalo. Bronco Juggalo talks movies. Thanks for joining me at the Horror Corner. I appreciate you stopping by, man. Thank you to everybody who stopped by in the chat, Mr. Horror Digest, Dino and Ted Show, um, the Soulless Trench Code, Jen's Reviews from the Grave. I really appreciate it. So the Soulless Trench Code says, I thought, oh no, at first when I thought Hall, I think 16 Candles and Breakfast Club. But then I discovered he also played the bully in Edward Scissorhands. Yeah, that's right. He also had a TV series based on Stephen King's The Dead Zone. Did you know that? And that was like in the early 2000s, I think, and he was very good in that. So that kind of gives him a little bit of horror cred, doing Stephen King. Yeah, I have no doubt that Anthony Michael Hall will do a fine job. I agree with the Soulless Trench Coat, says Jen. I am excited for Anthony Michael Hall because I love him. I think he will do a great job. I keep hoping they're going to put in Danielle Harris somewhere. It just feels wrong. Uh, and that is one thing Rob Zombie got right. Yeah, I agree with that, Jen. I would love to see Danielle Harris back in there. I think that would be awesome. And I really felt like they missed the ball. They dropped the ball on the last movie. That would have been the perfect time to have her come back as Jamie and be Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter. Because that's what she's supposed to be. She's supposed to be Laurie Strode's daughter. That's Jamie Lloyd. And to have her come back as Jamie would be like every Halloween fan's dream. I think, like, if you really want to put asses in the seats, do something like that. Make all the Halloween fans happy. You want to talk some serious fan service, which is what they did a lot of in the last movie. A lot of it was fan service. Let's be honest, the homages to all the past movies. Lots of homage to Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2 in there. There was so much fan service in that movie. Fan service to the curse of Michael Myers, and there was a lot of little nuggets in there, which I'm sure you noticed, Jen, being a big Halloween fan yourself. Soulless Trenchcoat says, I agree, Jen. She wants to come back, and I bet they could work. It could work if they think hard enough about, a way to write her into the story. Which is harder at this point because they didn't use her in the last one. They used Judy Greer instead as. Uh, Now it's like to bring her back at this point, they have to come up with something good. Like, why wasn't she in the last one? And someone said like they could have her, they could work her in because of, they said in the last movie she had failed marriages, and that is one way they could kind of fit her in. That she was a product of one of the failed marriages. It's it's possible, but then why isn't she mentioned at all? Unless she had no relationship whatsoever with her. Which could be interesting. She could be like battling with Jamie Lee. Soulless Trenchcoat says, I agree. I already said that. I do too. The fans would be so happy. That could work. Yeah. I think the only way I think that it would work at this point, considering she wasn't in the last movie as her daughter, would be to do something like that. I mean, as a product of one of the failed marriages, as a love child of one of the failed marriages, which could work. I mean, that could work, if they did something like that. Yeah, Jamie could be an estranged daughter. Yeah, they could make her a new character altogether. Yeah, that's something too. They could make her a completely different character, just like they did with Rob Zombie's Halloween. I mean, of course, I would prefer her to be Jamie Lloyd, a classic character that we all fell in love with in parts 4 and 5. Yep, I agree. The fans would get it, absolutely. That's like the one like great thing about um 4 and 5 to me. Not the one great thing, but my favorite thing about those movies, part 4 and 5, is Danielle Harris. And of course Donald Pleasance is Dr. Loomis, but he's always great. But she was like the breath of fresh air, something new, a new character that we all invested in, and came to love. She was like a beloved character, and since she got screwed over in part 6, Crystal Michael Myers, which sucked. Not the movie sucked, but it sucked that she got killed off like that, and a different actress came back to play her. That should have been played by Danielle Harris. I mean, even if she was killed off in the beginning, it still would have been nice if she at least came back for that beginning scene. But this would be a way to make up for that. But who knows? Soulless transfer for her, but I would be okay with the new character thing if they do the nods and references. Jen says, "Me too. At this point, I would just be happy to get her in any form." Yeah, absolutely. Any of Danielle Harris at all is a good thing. And I really liked her in the Rob Zombie movies too, especially part 2. Even though I freaking hate that movie, I liked her in it. She was the bright spot in that movie for me. She did it. She had a great performance in that. And then, well, what do you guys think about Lonnie Lamb? Like, what was the point of having him come back? That's kind of silly. Other than maybe Tommy confronts him and says, "You were a bully. You bullied me in school," or something like that. Like, what? What's the point of having that character come back? It's like they're just throwing random people in there. If you're gonna do that, what do you? It's kind of a stretch. Can have been like random ass characters like that, just because they were in the original movie. I did too. I know you do, but she was great, no matter what you think of the movie. Yeah, I agree with that, Jen. That is one positive I can say about Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Danielle was great as Annie. I didn't think she was quite as good in Rob Zombie's first one. She was all right, but I felt like she was a lot better in the second one because she had the trauma of dealing with Michael Myers. how that really affected her mentally, and it made her like really like hard ass, especially towards Laurie. Yeah, it's cool they had Annie survive too. Yeah, absolutely. And she was really good in that one. At any rate, I am very excited for the film, and as more casting news goes on, and Brad Dourif also gave a great performance, Jen says. Yeah, I didn't mind him as Annie's father. I thought he was pretty good, Sheriff Brackett. I didn't mind him. I prefer Charles Cyphers, but no, he was solid. Hey, what's up, Last Venom 76? How you doing? Eric here. Got Eric in the house. How you doing, buddy? We got Jen's reviews from the grave in the house. We got the soulless trench coat. We had Horror Digest. Welcome everybody. Welcome. Well, I'm kind of wrapping this up actually, but it's nice to hear from you guys. Nice to see you in the chat. And I think this was a pretty successful run on the StreamYard app here, and I'm going to continue to use this in the future. So yeah, I think it worked out pretty well tonight. So thank you all you guys for joining on the live horror stream 8, The Killing. This is my 8th live horror stream, my solo live streams anyway. Of course, I had previously the horror hangouts. Thank you, Ben Grimm. Yeah, it is comfy. I sit in this chair all the time. It's like my Archie Bunker chair. Look at this. We got Ben Grimm in the house. We got Les Venom 76, Jan's reviews from the grave, and Ben Grimm. Yep. And the soulless trench coat. Thank you so much for joining me, all you guys. I really appreciate it. I know it's getting real late now. I'm gonna have to wrap it up here soon. But let me just say, I am very excited about Halloween Kills, and as further details come out about the casting, I'm sure I'll be discussing that with you guys. But so far, I am digging the casting, so far. And it does get me excited. Did you guys see where Jamie Lee Curtis won like a Saturn Award or something for her performance in Halloween? It's pretty cool. It's like a year later, though. What took them so long? I thought that was really cool. She got an award for her performance as uh, Laurie Strode after all these years. I did think she was fantastic in the role of Laurie Strode. She really brought it in. She really brought it in the new Halloween. Hey Sean, I got about 4, maybe 5 vids left, and I'm done. You heard it here first. LOL. Hush hush. That's it. What's the matter? What's 4, maybe 5 vids left, and I'm done. Oh, you mean for the hmm. What do you mean by that? You like leaving YouTube or what? Maybe I'll keep that on the DL. If that's true, I'm sorry to hear that. Cool shirt. Thank you, Ben Grimm. Yeah, Laurie was one of the best parts of 2018 Halloween. Absolutely. I mean, she really gave her all. I think that was, I'll be honest, I think that was her best performance yet as in her career. Especially the part, when they're at the restaurant, that really got to me when when she finds out that Michael got transferred and after and yeah, she really broke down, in front of her granddaughter and her daughter. That was a really intense scene, and that really got me. Hey Sean, when the movie comes out next year, you should come down to New Mexico. You, and Christian and Brad should go see it together. That would be awesome, Jen. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? All us Halloween nerds together to see a screening. That would be great. Of course, Christian won't be quite as excited as because it's not Halloween 3. Season of the Witch. That's so funny. He loves that movie so much, huh? It's funny. Well, a lot of people have come to really love Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, and it just kind of boggles my mind, honestly. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'll catch you guys later. Lunch is over. Lunch this late? What, do you work in the overnight shift, Venom? Bye, Venom. Stay frosty. Ben Grimm says there's a new American Horror Story tomorrow. Yeah, I'd like to check that out. I guess it's more like kind of paying homage to like the slasher movies of the 80s. That should be pretty interesting. I love my slasher movies. LOL, no, but he would love all of us to be together and we can give him hell. especially Brad, right? Be all over his ass for Halloween 3. And I don't hate the movie. I actually like Halloween 3, but nowhere near as much as him. Jen, did you see Horrific Nightmare Jam's newest video? Actually, I believe it was your contest when the question, what does Halloween 3 do better than the original 1978 film? Oh no, it wasn't her. I'm sorry, it wasn't Horrific Nightmares. It was Adam Paul Beaumont, and he said the movie had Tom Atkins' mustache. That was his answer. That was funny. That really made me laugh. I'm like, yeah, that's true. It does have Tom Atkins' mustache, and then the original movie. That was good. He's a funny dude. I like Adam Paul Beaumont. But yeah, congratulations on your subscribers, Jen. I know you're gonna get many more. I know pretty soon you'll get 1,000. And you deserve it all because your show is fantastic. And you guys are just hilarious. And you and your son are just so great together. He's so funny, and you really do a lot for how I was saying in my video about independent horror. You guys really stand up for independent horror, um, and you gotta appreciate that. I really respect that. Yeah, you did see that. You guys are always out there repping the indie movies, which is great. So guys, I think I'm gonna just about wrap it up tonight. I gotta get to bed. I got work in the morning. But it's been a great time, been a blast chatting with all you guys. Thank you for joining me here at the Horror Corner for a live horror stream 8, The Killing. Uh, and thank you for joining me here on the StreamYard, this new app I've been checking out. I really enjoy it so far, and this was a fun stream. And love all you guys. Love the horror community. You guys are just awesome, and you've all been very kind to me, and I really appreciate it. Jen says, I do. Adam rocks. Thank you, Sean. You are doing great too. Thanks. That means a lot. Big hugs. Big hugs. Big hugs. Souls Trenchcoat says, yeah, indies need that love. Yes, absolutely they do. And yeah, it is an important thing to the horror genre, is indie horror. It always has been. Um, there's always a place for that. Yeah, Jen, good night. Good night, everyone. Good night, Souls Trenchcoat. Jen's views from the grave. Last Venom 76. Horror Digest. Dino and Ted. Bronco and Juggalo. Horror Digest, everybody that joined me in the chat tonight. Uh, Thank you so much for joining me in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared. Good night, guys. Have a good one.